What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kitchen Chronicles. My name is Billy Floyd, and that's
The Commodore. This is Volume 1, Chapter 5, and we are with the Mad Scientist for the first time.
That's right. This was November 15th, 2017.
September.
October 27th, 2019.
It's a long time ago in a kitchen far, far away.
No, that's some good stuff. We actually did a May 4th show. We'll get there, too. That was awesome when we did the lightsabers. That was awesome. So, yeah, this is September 15th, 2017. This is when we had no power at the house, I believe, is what was going on.
Yeah, you guys didn't have AC.
Oh, boy.
That's right. That's right.
That's how we ended up at your house.
That's exactly how we ended up at the Mad Scientist's house. That was the very first of many times that you've bailed us out of tight situations.
That's what I do.
It's a tight spot.
Yeah,
so
that's what friends are for.
That was an interesting one. That was the first time and since then we've been to your kitchen how many times? We were just talking about this, almost half a dozen.
For actual shows, 5, many more than that.
Oh, yeah. We also did a special with you as well, right?
Yeah, we did the Pulp Fiction
Pulp Fiction one. That was awesome. So we've been to the Mad Scientist a half a dozen times. He has been to various kitchens around the state, been to here. How many times have we had shows together? In the dozens, I would imagine.
At last check, we're close to 80 that I've actually been along for.
Wow.
In some capacity or another.
And this is the story about the very first time that we crashed the Mad Scientist kitchen, which was super cool. It was last minute. It was in a rush, and I believe we even started the stream before we got to the house.
You guys were actually broadcasting from my driveway because I don't live in Longwood. I live in Leesburg. And I get this text about half an hour from showtime. Dude, where in Longwood are you?
That was my fault.
I'm not in Longwood.
It began with an L. It's the same.
It's like an hour's difference.
Lecanto, Leesburg, Longwood, Long Island.
We started off driving. And we were like, I don't have the address handy. I'll just start heading towards Longwood.
That's true.
North.
And so I just started heading towards Longwood.
That was it.
Longwood, and we started driving there.
That was it.
You know, we figured it out.
I had an address, but I didn't have a city, and we had already talked about it. He told me it was Leesburg several times, but then he just sent me the house address, so I started looking for the house address in Longwood.
Right.
And we were already on the road for quite some time, and I couldn't find it, and I just kept believing that I would find it eventually. But then we got pretty far down the road. I'm like, yo, bro, I can't find your address in Longwood. And you were like, why are you looking in Longwood?
And here's the kicker. You'd been to my house at least on 4 separate occasions prior to that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like an hour outside of
Yeah, also true. All that is very true. So we show up. It's 9:05. We're in the car.
Yeah.
We are agreement with ourselves and with the community is at 9:05. No matter what's going on, we go live.
We're going live.
So it was okay, cool. We were pushing it. It was 9:03. We're driving down the road. I'm thinking, nope, we're not going to. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to type everything in. We're just going live now. And Commodore's like, going live in the car? I'm like, yep. He's like, all right, cool. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So we show up. We're live. We're streaming. People are joining the feed, and we're loading into your house.
Yes.
We're loading into your house. You're giving us a hand. We're getting everything set up. We were actually streaming not in landscape mode because we had the phone naturally straight up and down, like the little more of the what is that called? Portrait mode?
Portrait.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had it in portrait mode. We come in, we're super late. We don't know what's going on. We just know that there is a lot of moving parts at a very short period of time that needed to be completely ready at 9:05. Everything else was, and we were late.
And it really did feel like my kitchen was being crashed.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. It was like you didn't even know these guys were coming. Next thing you know, like KitchenKillaz are at your house.
Why are you in my house?
Why are you in my house?
We rushed your kitchen, and we set it
That was awesome.
Live.
It was a really cool load-in. It was a really cool setup. Everybody knew what they were going to do. We got in. We got set up. There was a lot of hands. There was a lot of movement, and we got everything ready to rock and roll. Next thing you know, within minutes.
It's crazy that was our fifth show, and we were already like boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Like we went in there and we went in and we set everything up. Like I think you were humouring the crowd.
Oh yeah,
and
you guys were bringing
thing,
and
we were
equipment.
just like.
It was like I'm holding the phone. People would bring me a piece at a time. I'm like, chink, ding, 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 ding. Okay, we're good. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
This is before we had a directional mic. It's before we had the battery operated lights. We had like the Fender amplifier. We had the 2 LED lights that were everything was plugged in. Extension cables everywhere.
If we didn't have that matchbook.
Oh man, I'm telling you, bro.
The whole show.
It was the key to the whole thing. The matchbook was
you
the
were even
kicker.
bringing in amplifiers, and you're an acoustic band.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, we're not going to use these.
Are you
going to
plug
put
these in?
stuff on
No, we just put stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
That's really what we do.
We just use it for like light fixtures.
Yeah.
We had that. Yeah. Oh,
we never actually plugged it in. That was a really cool show, and not only was that the first time at the kitchen, that was a themed menu.
Yes.
And we had never really experienced anything like that.
We weren't expecting.
And
I
will say, like,
at all.
The Mad Scientist and I have been friends for several years. We've spent some time with each other's friends and family and cooking food, but never in the aspect of KitchenKillaz. So I already knew that you were an accomplished cook. But the fact that you themed the whole thing out based on one of our original songs was outstanding. And he based it on Drift, Slide, Collide, which was super cool. And tell us a little bit about the menu. It was all word: Drift, you had Slide, you had Collide. Like, what was each one?
So the Drift, actually, I had things out of order, but I like to start with dessert anyway. So we had a Snowdrift cake, which was like a coconut cream cake.
Oh, so good.
That was good. The slide part came into sliders, and Billy and I, being Marylanders from the Chesapeake Bay area, we love our crab cakes, so we did crab cake sliders with slaw
for sure,
and some fries with that with Old Bay seasoning. And then the Collide part came with the cocktail.
We had the French fries with the Old Bay.
Yes.
Oh, dude, so good, so good. Oh, what was the cocktail? That was a cherry.
It was a cherry cola collider.
That's right, cherry cola collider.
Coca-Cola with cherry rum and moonshine maraschinos.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I remember the jar. I remember the jar. That's right. I remember that. That was outstanding, man.
Yes.
That was really cool, and that was it was, again, we had worked together previously, but to have a themed menu, so much thought went into it. It was one of those things where we walked in and, like, your preparedness was outstanding. Like,
we were honored.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I wasn't surprised at all, because that's your work ethic. But goodness gracious, like, that was incredible that you put so much thought into the whole menu, and us coming in so quick. You being there for, like, hey, you guys don't have power. I got power. Let's rock and roll. Let's get you out of there. Get you in an air conditioned place. Put you in a comfortable. I'll take care of the menu. No problem. And we showed up. Had everything rocking and rolling. The door was open. The hands were full. We got the show set up. Got right into the menu right away. That was awesome.
I think it's a little strange though. Like, I don't remember the fact that we didn't have any AC at the time. I don't remember, like, being so relieved to be inside of an AC house.
And those are the things I try to remember.
I don't
those
remember
moments,
that.
like, man, the AC felt. It was like walking into Chris Gentry's last night from outside, walking into the AC, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love technology.
Billy's standing at the back door just waving it open and closed, and
blowing cold
air right out of the house. Meanwhile, the people inside are like,
what are you doing? Oh, man.
I remember like a couple shows prior to that when you're just going on live and you have no power in the house, but you're still broadcasting by candlelight.
Oh, yeah.
No shirts on.
Oh, my God.
Looks like a bad Chili Peppers cover band.
Hell yeah. I'll take it.
We were in our underwear.
I think it was, I think you said it was 91.
Yeah, it was.
91.
And it was 91 degrees
Miserably
inside the house.
It broke 90 inside the house.
And that was the thing we were talking about last time, because we went over the first hurricane party we had when Sushi showed up, which is just a whole different level of party.
Yeah.
So we started talking about that and getting into what the hurricanes did and how the hurricanes affected us and what was going on. And it was really interesting that we were talking about when the hurricane is happening, it's really cool because the temperature drops.
Right.
Everything crashes and it's super breezy. So when the power's out and your windows are open, but it's cool breeze blowing back and forth, it's perfect. It's awesome.
Like, this isn't so bad.
I slept so well. Like, the night, yes, we were out of power, but it was so cool and the air was so fluid. It was so awesome. I slept like a baby. It was great, man.
And it was breezy.
Oh yeah,
very breezy.
Low, barometric pressure drops.
Yeah.
Hurricane.
Yeah. It was awesome, man. I mean, I don't want to say it was awesome because it was awesome. Even though we were out of power, it was
that
still
one night.
We were ready. That first night. Yeah. The next day, when the hurricane had gone away and it wasn't breezy anymore,
and
it was just 93 degrees.
Awesome.
Everything was soaking wet. Not even just like a little Florida shower, but to the core, it was soaked. And here comes the sun.
Right.
Here comes the sun.
So
next
now
thing
it's
you know,
baking all of this
oh my
water.
God.
And we have no, and not if we had no AC, but we had some way to circulate the air, that'd be different.
We had no
Like,
power.
if I got a generator that will only plug in one thing, I'm plugging in a fan.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
For sure, bro. And it was interesting because there were 4 of us at the house. It was Sushi. It was Kalen, myself, you. Ari had left. He had gone to Louisiana because he's a bitch.
Bye.
And then we had no power. We weren't sure how we were going to do the show. Mad Scientist reaches out and was like, "Yo, here you go. Let's rock and roll. We got power. Let's make it happen." And I think it was I think you had gone over the menu briefly with me, and I think the promotion for that show kind of came up with the moniker Mad Scientist from Maryland.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure how you were going to react to that. I was like, man, I hope he's not like, whoa, bro.
You just kind of came up with this alliteration, and it stuck. I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh,
I can
man.
go with that.
And you
He's
dug
big
it. I
on-
was like, all right,
he's big
cool.
on
Oh
alliteration.
heck
Yes.
yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah,
Like Kitchen Chronicles, KitchenKillaz, like Mad Scientists from Maryland. It's just so much fun, and I'm glad you dug it. You kind of like took ownership of it, and you really jumped on it, which was
suits me.
awesome. It
Yeah,
does.
It suits me.
It does, man, and I really like because we've done some videos with you before. I just came to remember the live at 9:05 short that you did with the lightning crashing. You remember that?
Yes.
You had the goggles on, and oh man, do you remember that? Oh, that was so good, dude.
That was at the anniversary, right?
I think so.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
My Dr. Horrible gimmick.
Your Dr.
The
Horrible
first one.
gimmick. That was awesome.
The first
yeah,
one
yeah.
or the second one?
No, it was number one.
The first one.
Yeah, it was
That's what I
number
thought.
one. So that night, so 15th of September 2017, we're out of power. We've been out of power for a week. We show up to your place. We're late. We're already live. We get it set up. We go through the menu. Drift, Slide, Collide, which is super, super cool. Dubbed and named the Mad Scientist of Maryland. You took that on. I think we might have debuted Crazy. Did we debut a new song that night?
That wasn't the time you did Crazy. It was like later.
Okay.
It was like the second gig you guys did with me. Was the
We
first time you did
definitely. I want to say we definitely did a. I don't know, man. That was such short
It
notice.
was-
we might not have.
And it was in the very beginning of it, so
Yeah.
I don't think we were
I was
taking
still-
live requests at
Still
the time.
bugging the crap out of you, saying you guys need to do this song.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it's
we'll
true.
get to
no,
it.
because the chapter 3, we did More Than Words.
Oh yeah, we did Extreme, and
Yeah.
for Jimmy we did his song too.
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was short notice. We might not have done.
So
we
that-
might
that's-
not have done
that's
a new
probably the
song
only reason we
for the Mad
didn't-
Scientist
yeah.
that night.
You still owe me a cover then.
Probably.
Ouch.
At
We're
least.
down one. We're down
Man,
one.
How good does it have to be 2.5 years late?
Yeah. I'll tell you, man. It was Calvin Phillips was 10 years late on a round of golf. For my 30th birthday, he promised me a round of golf. For my 40th birthday at Andretti, I reminded him that he still, a decade later, owed me a round of golf. 10 years.
Oh, we're
10
going
years,
to Disney.
bro. Yeah.
We're going to Disney.
Uh-oh.
So it was so that was a lot of fun, man. That was really great. We learned a lot that night. We had our OG setup. We didn't necessarily know what was going on. From your perspective, how was it? Like because you and I were friends, you kind of knew what was going on already. But from your perspective, like walk me through, man. You know, Billy and the Commodore are coming over to the house. I'm going through this menu. They're gonna play some music. Like we must have been just a lightning storm running through the front door with our hair
Definitely.
on fire.
I mean, just like armfuls of gear, just plugging in wherever there were plugs and trying to set up in a hurry because you're already on air. I mean, people there is like, okay, are you guys gonna sing or what?
It's the only time we've ever done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It was man. That was awesome, and the door was open before we even got to the front
Yeah.
step.
And I'm like, guys, just hit the ground running, grab an acoustic, start singing. I'll be over here and try not to burn the house down. I got you covered. So
Groovy.
Which you didn't. And we opened
Yeah.
up. What did we open up with? We opened up with. Did we do the sliders?
yeah.
Because we did the drift cake and we did the cherry cola collider after we
I
did the
think we actually
entree,
did
right?
it in order for the song, Drift, Slide, and
Oh,
Collide,
nice.
'cause
Okay.
'cause
We
I was
started
big
with
on-
dessert.
I started with dessert.
So walk us through that. What the drift cake? You mentioned it a little bit before. The ingredients that we had in there.
It was a white chocolate ganache cake.
You
with
love
a,
ganache, bro.
With a coconut cream.
I love that
Yeah.
you love ganache.
It's fun to work with. It's fun to say.
It
you
is,
know.
man. It is.
It's like liquid fudge.
We're missing. It tastes good.
Oh man,
Oh, yeah.
I think the first time I ever had ganache was chocolate ganache baked into the middle of a cupcake.
Yeah.
And I never had that before, and then I bit into it, and I was like, "What is this?"
I must know what this is.
Oh my gosh! And from that moment, the first time I ever had white chocolate ganache was that night.
Mhm.
That was awesome.
That was so good.
That was awesome.
That was my first time making white chocolate ganache. So
Get
it kinda
out
worked
of
out.
here. I think we're due.
So
for
walk
that
us through the
again.
process of that. Like, was it what was
By
it?
the way.
Was it yellow cake? Oh, 'cause
It was a yellow cake
Okay.
with vanilla pudding mixed in because I like to do that
That's
for
right.
consistency.
That's right.
And then I poked holes in the top of the cake and just dumped the ganache in so it
That's
settled.
right.
And then did it as layer cake and just covered it with this buttercream icing with coconut flake, so it looked like a snowdrift.
Oh man, I can taste it,
Dude,
man.
yes.
I can taste like right. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
As soon as he started
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
I'm like, wow, I remember that.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. That was awesome. That was so cool. And what creativity behind it. Just absolutely awesome. How did you come up with that idea?
I was just listening to you guys play Drift, Slide, and Collide and said, what can I do to compatible menu with what you're making musically?
Like the idea for the cake itself, like did you just make that up off the top of your head? Was this something you
Yeah.
had made before?
No, never made it before.
Really? That
Just
you said it was
pretty much
your first
what-
time working with white ganache.
Yeah, I mean, it's what can I make that is a drift? Okay, so there's not a lot of food things that are adrift, but what is kind of a thing that would be a drift? Well, we have drift racing. No, I can't make a sports car. There's a snowdrift, so we can make something that looks like a snowdrift. Well, what looks like a snowdrift? Coconut cake. So what do we want to make that's not just a plain overly sweet coconut cake that sticks in your teeth for like a week? I want to do something that's actually rich and kind of decadent, but not to the point that you feel like you need dental work after you eat it.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I would say just that cake itself was outstanding, and you hit the nail on the head with that one, man.
Thank you for that.
That was really great. What a great idea too. Like I like the fact that you worked this through the process on how you came up with the name. Like okay, drift cars. Well, we're not going to build a car. What else can we do? There's snow drifts. Okay, great. And just the name of a drift cake. Like I could see people saying, "Oh, what'd you make tonight?" "Oh, I brought a drift cake." They're like, "Oh, what is that?" And it's your recipe. Like what a great name. You know, that was really good. So we had the cake. What did we move on to after that? Did we do the collider or did we do the sliders?
I think we did the slide.
Oh, yes. I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for this part. I could taste the cake that you were talking about, even though it was 2 years later. I'm excited to take a bite of the slider again. So walk us through that, my dude.
Okay, so, we can make your usual burger sliders, but no. Not with the great Billy Floyd and the Commodore coming over. No. Because we like seafood. We eat a lot of seafood at these gigs. Anytime we have a chance to make something with seafood, oh yeah. And we've been talking about making crab cakes just to make crab cakes, not even for a show, just because we haven't been back home to Maryland in a few years, and it would be nice to have some good crab cakes.
Oh yeah.
So I made smaller ones and put them on Hawaiian sweet rolls to make sliders.
Awesome.
And then a little bit of southern slaw on top of there just to give it a little bit of consistency, and then like a homemade remoulade dressing.
Dude, that remoulade was badass. That was really good. I'm glad you said that. And I'm glad you did that because, again, I got to experience the crab cake all over again.
A little bit of a spice to it.
Yeah. And it's and I would say, like, as a Marylander or a Baltimorean, I see a lot of places down here that say Maryland-style crab cakes, Maryland-style crabs, Maryland-style this. I would say
I don't believe
the
any
only
of them
one
now.
that I've recently found close that has made a crab cake that's from Maryland is my parents or my Uncle Billy.
Right.
That's it. I've never gone to a restaurant where they've had a Maryland-style crab cake and it was actually a Maryland-style crab cake.
I just basically used my grandma's recipe, but added a few local spices to it.
Yeah, and it was awesome, dude. It was really great. Like lump crab meat's really important. And I think down here,
it's hard to come by down here.
Oh yeah, it's expensive too. Down here they use a lot of breading, a lot of filling, a lot of diced vegetables, like just a lot of filler.
You're ruining it.
And a crab cake, when you have a crab cake, it is crab.
It has to be crab.
Like the whole thing. I would say it's probably
Jumbo
a
lump.
good crab cake that I've had in Baltimore. And I was at Ocean City one time, and I had a 1 pound crab cake that was all lump crab.
Phillips?
Yep, bingo. Outstanding. And it's all crab.
Phillips Crab House, where you at?
Oh my God! Which was I would say by far the most tender, most fulfilling, best flavor. Just that was cooked perfectly. Then when I came down here and I had crab cakes and they were like Maryland style, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so awesome! Because I was a kid. I'm 7 years old, 8 years old. I only know these homemade crab cakes that my uncle and my grandmother and my mom made that have been in Baltimore for decades. I come down here and I try one. I'm like, what is this?
Well, it's kind of
And rightfully so.
It's like going to a high-end restaurant and ordering like the high-end Angus beef burger.
Sure.
And they bring you out like a day-old Big Mac.
Yeah,
it's not
it's gonna
the
be a
same
problem.
thing.
There was
Can't do that.
I remember being in Crystal River. My mom, my dad, and myself and Jenny were in Crystal River, and we were coming back from the mall, and they had a restaurant on the water that said, "All you can eat blue crabs, $19.99." And I was like, you guys have just sold yourself out of business.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. So we walk in, my mom and I walk in, and before we pay, my mom says, can I try one crab? Before we get into this, before we commit, I want to try one crab. So they brought the crab out on a white plate, one crab, on a white plate, on a doily, on a silver platter, and next to it was a fork and a knife. And they like set this crab down on a doily. My mom will most certainly say and restate the fact that it was on a crab
I
on
can
a
hear
doily.
her fuming as you're
Oh
telling
my God!
the story.
On a white plate, on a silver platter with a fork and a knife and a napkin under that. My mom looks at it and goes, grabs the claw, picks it up, and water. And she goes, "We're leaving." And she's like, "Oh, did you haven't tried it yet? We don't need to. We can tell you're not steaming these. And if you did steam them, they're in the bottom of the pot.
Yep.
Because it shouldn't do this. Just water is everywhere. See you later. We're out of here." And at first I felt kind of bad because
No,
they
I mean, that's a lot of money to pay for food that sucks.
they didn't know any better.
Well, that's the thing. Either they're not
That's
getting the right
terrible.
ingredients,
Yeah.
or they don't know how to prep the ingredients
They
when
didn't.
they have them.
What they did, they told us they were cooking it all on a wok.
Oh my God!
I was like, how do you steam it in a wok? Like, do you guys have shelves? Do you have stands? Like, maybe they have a wire stand that they're putting in the bottom of a
That's
wok.
not
And they're
steaming. That's boiling.
exactly. But I'm like, that's not.
You're making soup.
Yeah, that's not steaming. No wonder it's filled with water.
Yeah.
And then we come to find out that most places in Florida are exactly like that. That
Yeah.
say Maryland-style crab cakes, Maryland-style crabs, steamed crabs from Maryland. I'm like, listen, bro, come to our house. We'll do it for you.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's why for my birthday one year, my family got me a rack, a propane tank, a steam pot, and 3 dozen crabs. Like, live crabs ready to rock and roll. That was a hell of a birthday present.
No lie.
I was like, so I called my Uncle Billy. I'm like, yo, Uncle Billy, I just got 3 dozen crabs, my man, and walk me through this. He's like, all right, great. You ready to rock and roll? I'm like, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
So super simple, easy prep, absolutely amazing. People overcomplicate it. I
Oh, yeah.
think they really overcomplicate it. And it's if you overcook the crab, it gets mushy.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work. So it takes, 15, 20 minutes, I would say. Steaming a good set of crabs takes maybe 20 minutes.
That's
and,
true
and
with
you're
most
done.
recipes. If you over-tend it
Yep.
and you're not patient and you don't give it the time that it needs, but then you give it too much time,
Yep.
you don't find that balance, the whole dinner is ruined.
Yeah, because when you put blue crabs in the steam pot, they're blue. When they're ready, they're red.
Yeah.
And if they're not red, if they're still blue,
Then
they're not ready.
done.
And
And
that's
you're gonna
it.
get sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, this is.
I don't know
something-
anything about cooking seafood.
Yeah, well, for any kind of shellfish, shrimp, lobster, crab, anything like that, normally it's going to have a transparent or
Mhm.
translucent or a blue color to it. So when you steam it, you just make sure when it's done, you look at the shell and it's a red shell.
And you try
So
to
if
break it open, if it's undercooked, it's going to be slimy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're never going to want to eat it again.
If when
gross.
it's cooked and it's done,
Gross.
it's very delicate and it's dry and it's not dry, but it's flaky and it's
Mhm.
tender. It's just not saturated with water,
Right.
and it's not gelatinous.
Nope.
I love that
Nope.
word. It really is very, very good, and it doesn't take very long. And you can do the same thing with pretty much most seafood. Is a very quick cook.
Some things
know.
are wonderful when they're gelatinous.
Amen. That's
Other
true.
things, crabs, no.
Yeah, no, not crabs, Jim. Definitely jelly. I like jelly, gelatinous jelly.
I
a
don't
good
like
band name.
gelatinous things with my crabs.
No,
Jelly
definitely not, man.
gelatinous.
Jelly
I don't like
gelatinous.
crabs with my gelatinous things.
Gross. But it was so that night we had the crab cake sliders made by the mad scientist himself, steeped in the history of culinary creativity from the state of Maryland. Dubbed the mad scientist from Maryland, took the moniker, now has a collection, a costume for the mad scientist, has a logo for the mad scientist, and then I just saw the other day you sent me an Instagram invitation.
I did change my Insta name on my personal site to the Mad Scientist.
Yes,
I went to tag somebody. I went to tag him yesterday.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
No, I started typing Dennis, and the mad scientist popped. I'm like, yep.
Yep.
Sweet.
So awesome, man. And that was kind of the beginning of a very cool journey that this has been.
Oh, yeah.
A very cool journey. So we chatted about the drift cake, we chatted about the crab cake sliders, but we also finished it up with a cherry cola collider.
Yes. So usually I like to make a cocktail if there's going to be a menu. If we're theming it out, let's theme the whole thing out.
Oh yeah, I
And,
still remember the Bombshell show where you showed up as a bartender that entire night, and you had individual drinks for so many different characters.
For every single person had their own individual cocktail before the night was out.
Dude, that was it. There were a lot of people there.
Yeah. Not to give away that particular episode, but I
Oh,
would ask
man.
every person that stepped at the bar, tell me 3 things about yourself, about your personality. Tell me 3
Nice.
things about your personality traits. And I would reach under and I would grab ingredients and I would custom create a cocktail with 3 ingredients based on the traits that they gave me.
I'm excited to talk about that show.
Yeah.
That's going to be a
Preview.
real. That's
Wow.
going to be a really
No
really good
spoilers.
one. And there's so many shows that you've been a part of this with us in regards to food and drinks, and sometimes just showing up to create an incredible dessert.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited that the time that we had you and Jason Sofka in the same place, and you
Yeah.
killed it on dessert, and Jason created that menu.
boy.
It was outstanding, and even working with Rob from AKT
Sure.
today, I'm really excited to see the collaboration.
I don't
because
like
it's
to
just
show up empty-handed.
so much creativity, man. So much creativity, and even today after the show, what are we doing? We're doing French toast cornbread.
Yes.
What is that? Is it exactly what it sounds like?
Pretty much.
And it's
so,
and you said topped with baked apples and fresh cream.
yeah.
Oh,
So basically,
What?
I baked a pan of cornbread, and
I baked a pan of cornbread.
this is something that I tried when I just ran out of bread for French toast one morning for breakfast. And I took a little square of it, I soaked it in the leftover slurry with the eggs and the cream and the sugar that I use for French toast, threw it in with a little bit of peanut oil and browned it on each side. and then just put some syrup on top of it, and it was amazing.
And that is why we call you the mad scientist. That's it right there.
Just take what you have and run with it.
And that's it. There's
Can't
so many.
taste it.
Yeah, there's so many people that operate by instructions only. You know, like coming from, especially cooking on a budget or eating on a budget. Like I've learned really quickly that I'm gonna have so many more options if I look at my ingredients and see what I can build with what I have. You know, and sometimes the best things come from such the simplest items.
To cook without a recipe, can you imagine that?
Right? How awesome is that, man? That's good. And most of the stuff that I've cooked, and I love to cook, most of the stuff that I make off the top of my head. Like, I just do it by what I think would be good, or taste, or flavor, or smell.
You got to know
really
your
important.
palate.
Yeah.
You know your ingredients, know what you're working with, but know what tastes good to you.
Yeah, smell's really important. Like, if anybody ever uses the popcorn button on their microwave, I suggest don't do that.
No.
Wait for that perfect buttery smell. You're ready.
Yeah.
That's it. All you got to do is pull the door and close it. Just stop it from microwaving. You'll hear a couple extra pops as it calms down. You're ready to rock and roll, baby. But if you go another 5-10 seconds more, now you're burning it. It's going to have that weird smell, that weird kind of bitter flavor.
Your microwave is ruined.
I just listen for the pops.
Yeah.
It smells like butter the whole time.
Yeah. I focus on when it's strongest butter, I'm like, done. Ready to rock and roll.
Strongest butter.
That's it right there. Because I can smell like the levels of buttery. And when it gets to the very top and you're just overwhelmed waves of butter, I'm like, yep, it's done. So I just hit the cancel button and I just let it kind of calm itself down. It'll pop a couple extra times and then it's out. Like I would much rather lose some kernels but have perfect popcorn than have all their kernels popped and have it burned.
Totally.
You know, or have it overcooked.
I agree with that 100%.
You can waste a handful of kernels or you can waste the whole damn bag.
Yeah, and then what I do is I turn the bag upside down because it's got that little vent hole, and I just shake it, and all the kernels come out, all the seeds. So then I turn it back upside down, and it's all popcorn. Little trick for you.
I did not know that trick.
Life trick.
Pro tip.
Yeah, man.
My
Top tier Patreon.
My family we used to do that microwave popcorn on a regular basis. And
Yeah.
Nobody's
Have you guys ever
showed me
made
that
stove popcorn? You know, like the Ready Pop? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, when I was super
They did it in the
young.
movie
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never made it before. I've seen it in the store, and I look at it, I'm like, I don't know. That looks explosive.
happens.
That looks volatile.
I used to take that camping all
Well,
the time. It's great on a campfire.
That's why there's foil over top of it so they don't fucking fly everywhere.
Yeah.
True. Oh man. Oh man. So it was so we went through the drift, we went through the slide, we went through the Cherry Cola Collider. That's
Yes.
right. Cherry Cola Collider. Walk us through that one.
Coca-Cola
Nice.
over some.
Now why not Pepsi?
Ugh, Pepsi's the devil.
Tara would murder you.
Oh God, she
As
owns
she-
stock
as
in
she-
Coca-Cola.
As she
True story.
slowly
She's
and
drinking a
successfully
Coca-Cola.
sips her
Yes.
Coca-Cola.
We don't have Pepsi products in my house. The fact that I'm drinking a Mountain Dew right at the
That's why
moment,
you're on the other side of the
I feel
table.
like I'm cheating.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah,
At least you're right here in front of her, so you can, you're transparent with your infidelity.
and preferably with Coca-Cola. If you could get it from the glass bottle, that's our choice.
Oh yeah.
I would say I love the fact that every time we go over there, you guys have the little bottles, the
Yeah.
little glass
yeah.
bottles of Coke, which is just enough. Is it 10 ounces? 12?
6.
It's smaller? 8?
8 ounces. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
I'm
it's
glad.
It's the perfect amount if you want to
It
do
is.
a tall rum and Coke or Jameson's and Coke. It's the right amount of Coke for one shot of alcohol.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. You're like, hey, thank you, Coca-Cola, for portioning this for us. So you had Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola from the glass bottle over crushed ice. We had
Nice.
cherry rum.
Crushed ice.
And then a splash of amaretto to kind of give it a little bit of extra sweetness, that kind of vanilla-y flavor.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And we threw in about 3 maraschino cherries that were soaked in moonshine.
That's right. The moonshine. You just had the thing of cherries in the
big
moonshine.
old mason jar full of moonshine
So
and
awesome.
maraschino cherries.
I believe we all tried a couple of those.
And I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of maraschino cherries. I've tried them over and over again. There was one point in my life that I thought maraschino cherries were the only kind of cherry. I didn't know that there were pitted cherries. I had no idea until I was
We've all been there.
gifted like a bag of cherries from Publix, and it was given to me, and I looked at it, and I was like, wait, what are those? And I pick it up, and I'm like, this is a cherry?
Yeah.
And then, one of my friends was like, there's a pit in it, so just be careful. And I was like, okay,
That's where
cool.
cherries come from.
I took a bite of it, and I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, what are maraschino cherries? What are those? What trees do they come from? Are they manufactured? Are they synthetic? Do they come from a can? Are they put there by a man in a factory downtown? Like, where do
No,
these
Billy,
cherries
those are
come
peaches.
from? Yeah, they are.
They are
Millions,
peaches.
millions, and millions of them. So seriously, is there a maraschino cherry tree?
There is a type of cherry that they do use for maraschino cherries, but there is a process involved where they soak it in a mixture of sugar and liquor.
Really?
So maraschino cherries do, in fact, contain a certain amount of alcohol.
Interesting. I didn't
Not
know
as
that.
much of the alcohol as we had,
Not,
though.
I mean, not
Oh, boy.
moonshine
this
alcohol.
was
I
straight
hope
up
not.
Kentucky moonshine.
That's right, baby. With the mad scientists here.
Yeah.
You
So
don't just
this
get regular maraschino cherries,
This
bro.
shit was flammable.
We work. You work a lot with fire.
I love working with fire.
Love it.
If I can set something on fire and still maintain my eyebrows by the end of the night, it's been a good day.
Oh man, and I'll say, like, you're cooking with fire when you set the smoke alarm off in the kitchen.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah. I don't actually. There might be some that we still need to put back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was man.
Probably.
That was such a good night. The drift cake. The crab cake sliders, the cherry cola collider, just incredible, man. A fully themed menu. The very first time we crashed your kitchen, came in with our hair on fire, no power at our house. Opened up the doors, brought it in.
You guys had the dogs with
what
you
a
too,
fun
right?
show. We probably had Luke and Leia with
Yep.
us as well, because we probably wouldn't have left them.
No.
Left them at the house.
Not in a hot
No
house.
way. Yeah, way too hot. There was one day I actually took them to work with me because it was so hot. I brought them to work, and they just slept in my office the entire day. And at that time, I had a very, very small office, so it was tight quarters.
And they
It was
didn't know
tight
what to
quarters.
make
And
of
it was-
Seamus,
and it was
because
cold.
Seamus was big even as a puppy.
Oh
He was
my
like
God!
5 times their size, and looking at him through the cage, like, you're not letting him out, right?
How old was Seamus when you got him?
Seamus was barely a year old when you were doing the gig. So
But when I first met Seamus,
you had the chance to meet Seamus when he
It was
was
a couple
about
years
2
ago.
It was 2 months old.
That's right.
Right after we first got him.
lots of energy, super fluffy,
Oh, yeah.
huge paws, and a lot of very loose skin.
Yes.
Which I knew right away he was going to be a big puppy. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
was going to grow
Huge.
into that, and he has not slowed down at all. He's actually the same speed and the same maniacal behavior, but just another 60 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Right, how much does he weigh?
He's right between 60 and 70 pounds at
When
this
you
point.
told me that the very first time you told me how he hits the couch,
Yeah.
like that's just incredible. Then I saw him do it one day because he got a case of what you guys call the zoomies.
Zoomies,
That is
yes.
incredible, man. So you have a 60-pound dog running around with the zoomies, that just like a high-speed bullet.
Oh, yeah.
Man, we had a golden retriever when I was really young. He just showed up in the backyard one day. We called him Rudy. He was really young. But when we would get home, he was so excited. He would jump on one chair, jump to the couch, jump to another chair, jump to another couch, jump down, and he wouldn't hit the bottoms of the furniture.
Oh, no.
He would run along the backside of the furniture.
The
He was
floor is
so
lava.
excited.
It's like watching NASCAR when they're up on the embankment. That's how he runs.
Oh man, so awesome, so fast, bro. Yeah, we had Luke and Leia that night.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really, really hot, dude. Thank you so much for having us, man. That was such an awesome, and it was kind of crazy because the concept was not known very well.
No.
It was still kind of interesting. There were still
Like,
new people.
What
getting
exactly
involved.
is this thing we're doing? You know.
We still have people. I mean, I would say even last night at Gentry's house, there were a lot of people, and a lot of people were like, "Wait,
I don't
what?"
understand.
One of my favorite things to do is hear other people tell other people what we do and get it right. That's one of my favorites, where they're like, "Oh, this is what they do. This is what they do." There was a guest last night that was telling somebody that was sitting down in the chair. I just heard her say, "Yeah, they're called the KitchenKillaz. They travel around people's houses and play in their kitchens on Friday night." And I was like, "Yeah,
Basically, yeah.
that's pretty much what we do. Like, that's great. Thank you for keeping it simple."
Mhm.
You know, and that was the 5th show of ours, and here we are. How many shows later? I don't even know how many. 2 years worth of shows.
We're well past the 2-year mark.
Oh
since
yeah,
then.
well past 100 shows.
Yeah.
Well past 100 shows. And again, if you want to include Mondays and Wednesdays in those shows, now we're really, really getting far.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, well, millions,
Millions of shows.
Billions and
billions
shows.
We're
billions
not gonna
of
stop.
shows.
We're gonna do 10 billion.
And that was,
I went from million to 10 billion.
Yeah, and this was our first show with you in your kitchen.
Yeah, actually coming to my place. Yeah.
That was super awesome, and we've been back several different times. We're excited to go back again.
Oh, yeah.
We always have a great time, and some of our favorite originals and favorite covers we've debuted at your house, which has been really cool. I remember the May the 4th show. We all had our lightsabers.
Yep.
Which was super cool. Immediately when I watched the video, I thought we should have put the lightsabers in the shape of a number 4. And I was like, next time.
Yeah, but
Next time.
we would have screwed it up because we would have done it backwards.
Yeah, we would have done a bit backward forward. We've learned so much since then.
Yeah.
It was a huge, huge learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Dennis, thank you so much, my man. This
My
is
pleasure.
super cool. What is your social media? Where can the people find you? I know we just talked about your Instagram page.
Instagram page is the Mad Scientist DC.
Nice.
My Facebook page is still just Dennis Cutter.
Nice.
And we also have our cosplay page, House of Dun Cutter, at Facebook.
That's right, man. That's
So
right.
if you want to see me in costume with my better half and my young daughter, by all means, look us up.
Super great cosplay team, really awesome cosplay family, and what a great time. And I know you and I go back several years. We were just talking about this the other day through many different adventures, many different projects, and here we are 2 years into KitchenKillaz. The mad scientist from Maryland has been born, has been involved in over 80 shows with us all around the state of Florida.
It's been a long time since Miami, brother.
Oh man, let me tell you, and we continue to grow, and I'm so proud of what we've been able to accomplish as a team, and what you have brought to the table is never able to be repaid. Just everything that you've done, the fact that you put so much love and attention into a menu to theme it after a song that we created right there, just it was a top tier. That was class, man. That was really classy.
It was a good
awesome.
Start.
Yeah, man, it was a really great start, and we've grown from there. And honestly, like, you already impressed me as a creator and a cook, and here we are 80 plus shows later, and you have not stopped impressing, I think, both the Commodore and I at the same time. Every time you make another cake, I'm like, geez, good God, man. I'm like, oh, the last one you did with the chocolate and the cheesecake, we'll get into that, man. That was absolutely incredible.
To be continued.
Huge shout out to all of our sponsors,
volume.
man.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes.
Thank you guys for spending some time with us. Sarfer Brand Apparel, super cool. Lakeland Barbecue, J. Bauer Art, Merchant.com, Bride Land Imagery, and Castle Door Studios. We're really fortunate to work with them. And I want to say Chris Gentry might be added to that list soon. We were talking last night about a partnership and a sponsorship. I think it's going to be really cool to work with him. We just met Rob today from AKT. Absolutely incredible. He spoke to us also about partnering. So we may be adding a couple new names to the list of partners and sponsors that we get to work with. Catch us every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:05, Fridays at 9:05. We crash kitchens all over the country, and we do it for free.
That's it.
Yeah. What's our social media, my man?
KitchenKillaz, AZ,
Google
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, write that down.
Check out Instagram stories.
If you want to catch some videos of our songs, of some live performances, just single things, go to YouTube. If you want like the full video of things, YouTube also. If you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, some previews, some see it first kind of stuff, go to Instagram.
And if you want to watch the live show, check that out on Facebook. And we're also looking into to streaming on Twitch coming up. This is Kitchen Chronicles, which has been super great. Volume 1, Chapter 5, with the mad scientist not in Longwood, but in Leesburg, Florida. So for myself, Commodore, any last words, sir?
Last words.
Anything for you, my man?
No, we're good, brother.
Awesome. A huge shout out to Tara and Shelly for being so awesome. Jen Hogan and the team for allowing us to do this, for moving it all forward, baby. We are going to drink all the Coca-Cola, get rid of all the Pepsi so we don't get bombarded by the great and illustrious Lady Sif. And you guys have a really good night. Thank you for spending some time with us. Super cool. I love it. Chapter 5, first time with the host in the house. What'd you think? Think it's a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a great idea, man. I think it's
yeah.
really cool. Thank you so much for talking about the menu. That was so awesome, my man. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see this episode.
More to come.
We got a lot more mad scientist shenanigans to get to.
Let's go eat some shrimp.
Be safe, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.